But hang on a second. I want to jump ahead of something that's on my mind before we look at more video real quick. You said something's really bothering you from your last show or something?
Yeah.
We're working towards that.
We got to get that out in the open, whatever that is. I feel her feeling it. It's bugging me. So go ahead.
There's a lot to cover, but okay. First of all, if we fast forward to, let me go there.
The walkout.
The walkout. So basically, there's a few key moments. I think the main one is when we go ahead and show Dr. Drew when we start when she says that I'm a pill addict. Start from here.
Is that true?
It's not true.
Okay.
Actually, I'll give you the context. We were here, and please don't interrupt me.
But you're starting.
Let me hear his side first.
This is not where it started, though.
Okay, start earlier. I don't want to. I can't watch the whole episode with them.
Triggered me to say that. Go with that. It's not like I was just like, by the way, he's a pill addict. Everybody.
Okay, sure. So go back. But what happened was that we're sitting back here, hanging out off camera. And I mentioned to her that back, 10 years ago when I was living in Israel and and I was like in a dead end office job for 5 years, that I was taking painkillers. That was 10 years ago. I'm not currently taking.
How much?
I honestly don't know. I was getting high on the weekends. That's it. I was taking pills on the weekends.
You're using opiates to get high on the weekends. You weren't taking them. You weren't strung out.
No, I didn't take them when I was working.
So Trish, we back in the the sort of the center, the eye of the storm of the pharmaceutical opioid epidemic, people were using a lot of opiates that weren't addicts. Now that we would still call that a substance use disorder because you're illicitly using opiates to get high, but it's hard to call them a pill addict per se with just that history.
Well,
and now you say you've been addicted. Now, do you really believe he was an addict, or he just was?
Oh no,
abusing drugs?
He triggered something in me, and I wanted to be a fucking bitch to him, and so I said, "Well, you're a fucking pill addict. You're not perfect either."
So go ahead and play the clip.
I knew he's not. I know he's not.
Okay, good.
He's square.
That's all the context.
Okay, it's all good.
Yeah, I'm square, as she says.
Even though I did. I turned out okay. I'm functional.
Just because you make money doesn't mean
you're
okay.
way crazier than me.
That's so not true.
No, but you're way crazier than me.
That's not true.
Bro, that's objectively true.
You hide it more, just like Mikey, who hides shit.
Oh, really?
It all gets brought to the surface.
I don't hide anything.
On.
I literally don't. You literally just said how honest I am, and you respect that about me.
But you hide the crazy, is what I'm saying. Yeah, you share a lot.
I don't hide.
You do hide the crazy.
I'm all out there with no fucking eyebrows and everything.
You were into pills. You never talk about that you were a pill addict for a minute.
What?
Yeah, you said that. You said you were really into pills, and you don't talk about that.
Why do I need to talk about that?
Because that's being open. That you're judging me for being crazy, taking pills or whatever. Like I take pills or whatever. But you've done it too, and you're just not open about it.
I don't think that is a defining characteristic of who I am.
I think that is a big thing. That makes sense. Why? Because you're on medication now, and there's no shame or judgment in it. But like, hey, if you're going to shame me for being off meds, you should say, hey, I'm on meds.
I'm not shaming you for being off meds.
That's what it sounds like. You just called me crazy,
but here's
which
what you
means
do.
I'm off
medication. You know what you
medication.
just did? You're trying to see. This is why you are such a dangerous person, especially to be close with, because you'll take something that I've told you. You'll take something that somebody told you in confidence, and you'll use it. You'll weaponize it against them.
That's not true.
That's what you just did.
No,
and luckily for you, I don't care, and I'm okay with it. But you go, oh well, I told you an anecdote about how I used to take tramadol back in Israel when I was bored in a dead end job, and you literally just weaponized that against me.
You called me crazy, knowing my history.
Bro,
you
we always call.
And also a little bit of context. She's dating my brother-in-law.
What's that to do with anything?
Because I was like, hey, Moses, just so you know, she does this.
Okay, can I?
All right, so hold on, slow down, slow your roll.
Yeah.
So first of all, watching Uncle Fester attack you was a little weird. That was a little much for me.
Looked good though, right?
It was remarkable. You sure you weren't a child star? It wasn't Jackie Coogan a child star?
Why is it the trauma that you see that makes you think I was a child star?
No, the actual actor who played Uncle Fester, I believe, was a child star.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh.
So check me on that, Dan. Check it out. Somebody, Ian, look it up for me. So that was harsh on both your sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trish, here's the thing. It's really hard to be as open as Trish is, okay? And you could argue that you're so open, Trish, that you don't really kind of perceive boundaries normally, if that makes sense. Is that true?
You knew you were being a bitch.
Can I just say?
Hold on. Don't start with the you stuff. Stop it. I'm wondering
it's perceived by me that you knew you were being a fucking bitch.
Here, can I say, like hindsight, I looked back and I was like, oh yeah, that was fucked up. But Ethan, for all the shows, I don't think we had any boundaries between us. He calls me fat. He tells me my boyfriend shouldn't be with me. I shouldn't have kids.
Correct. That's what I want to say. You guys play with that, and Trisha can't do that. She can't really perceive boundaries. It's just all out there. It's all open. Well, you can do it, but you can't expect her to magically know where to draw the line.
But can I also say, he has no boundaries with me. He can say whatever he wants about me. The minute, there was an issue. This is a whole different issue, but I had an issue with my boyfriend, which is his brother-in-law, with private DMs. He exposed all these private things. So there's no boundaries when it comes to me.
No, I get
but as soon as I bring up something private with him, then what triggered me was his like, whoa, you're weaponizing. Oh my God, you're being a bitch.
Yeah, I never weaponized
now.
Anything.
No. You told me I was weaponizing when all of a sudden I thought that was our relationship, just saying whatever, just everything's out in the open. So I was like, okay.
That's what I thought. So she's confused. It confuses her to not know where you're supposed to draw the line, right?
Yeah, I was shocked.
But don't you see why me now would never say anything like that to you in private?
I can see that, but the same thing, you read private text messages I sent only to you.
Hold on. Ethan, not saying things in private to her because of that does not make you an open person. Right? You can't say I'm totally open about everything, but I can't trust you, so I'm not going to be open. It's okay. You don't have to tell everybody everything, but don't claim that you're wide open and telling everybody everything. She's the one that's really wide open. Too much so, right?
I agree. I do agree with that.
I've seen her naked. She's way too wide open.
So he can call me crazy. He can do all this stuff. And it's fine. Like, honestly, because I have a lot of I went to a mental hospital last year. Like, I have a lot of issues. And so and calling me crazy.
Let's talk about that word.
Yeah.
Then. How do you, because you feel it like it's a negative, like a pejorative, right? Because there's a way to own it, like the word addict or junkie.
Sure.
You just use it in comedy. You can do that.
I use it.
Take the energy out of it.
We've called each other crazy so many times, and then all of a sudden it was a problem.
Not a trigger. Right. But then when you were like, I'm open, and I'm like, oh, are you? And you're like saying, I'm open. So then I'm like, well, what about this? And you brought up stuff about me in private, so I thought it was okay to do it. So the minute you say, wow, I can't believe you would do that, I was like, what are you talking about? You just talked about all my personal
there's things you've told me in private that I would never bring out, that you've told me about certain things about your relationship with people.
The thing you brought up about Moses was really, really personal. It's really damaging to this day in our relationship. It was not public.
Yes, it was.
Moses
Everybody said
it
literally.
It was not public.
What are you guys talking about specifically?
The arm thing.
How did people get photos of it? I didn't put that out.
After you said it on the podcast, that account was like, now that it's out on the podcast, I'm going to post these photos. My boyfriend got catfished by someone, said something about an altercation we had that nobody knew. Ethan brought it up on the podcast. That makes me look like I'm a domestic abuse, like I'm a person that hits my partner. And that was out in the open. And we even said, Moses, like, stop, cut it. We're like, don't put that in the thing. What does he do? He puts it in the fucking thing.
Wait,
it was never fucking public.
Well, maybe you shouldn't hit him.
I agree, but that is something that is so fucking personal that you said, and we're like, please edit it out. It was a fucking weak moment, and our relationship will never get past that, and I even tell him that. Now everyone thinks I'm a fucking, a man beater and shit like that because of you. It's fine. It's fine, but don't say I'm weaponizing. It is. Ethan, you are the one who said it, and you're like, everything. He said while he was here, everything can be said, and I'm like, yeah, because I thought that was our relationship. So the minute I say something about your pill thing.
Wait, hold on. Before I said it, I said, I was like, how much of this can I read?
I didn't know that.
Because I don't want to upset you. And she said to me,
hey guys,
you can read everything.
Hey, let's navigate these waters carefully, or Trisha's going to have another episode of Walking Out.
I just get frustrated.
So
it's
let's
just frustrating.
Navigate carefully, right? Take a breath. So we don't want to get to the point where we have another episode of Walking Out.
No, I am fine for real. It's frustrating when he's like, no, it's already out there. When Moses and I both know it wasn't. I didn't know that's what he was going to say. We have the ability to edit things out, and he didn't. Just like the pill thing, you could have edited out.
I get it, but you guys but this is a problem. This is the problem of a show like this, where you're playing with being totally out there with everything, when there are a few things that maybe not. And you guys got to be very clear with. Can you both agree that at least attempt going forward, that when there are things that should not go out, you'll both agree these things don't go out?
Or just edit it out, too, if it goes too far.
Let me say, because you guys just left, and it seemed like you were fine with it being open. If you stayed and were like, can you cut that out?
2 things.
I would have done that.
We did ask you to cut out. You're like, no, we're leaving this in. Fine.
No, I didn't say that.
Fine. Yes, you did. You did say that. You're like, no, we're not. We watch it back. You literally, because that's what you said when I asked you, don't show my personal finances, and you did anyway.
Well, that was different.
Okay. Fine. We left.
Drew can't keep up with all this.
Look,
I'm trying to keep up, but I understand why Trisha's upset.
Well, hold on.
Thank Thank you. And then we left, and guess what? I was okay with it because I'm like, this is our relationship. This is what makes the show good, right? You're exposing shit
now
about
stop
me.
there. Stop with that. So you see, that's the confusing part. You signed up for this.
100%.
And it went too far.
No, but here's the thing. I'm totally fine. The minute I said something that went too far with Ethan, all of a sudden he said, you weaponize things. This is the problem with you. And I was like, what the fuck? You've been doing this for me every time I've seen you. That's all he does is expose private information about me, which, again, I signed up for. I'm okay. I literally am okay. I own up to so much awful things that I've done. It's fine by me. Truly, it's fine by me. But the minute someone's like, wow, Trisha's crazy, or Trisha did this, it happened in my last relationship. The minute I spoke up, I was uncomfortable about a threesome. All of a sudden, it's like, wow, Trish, it was a joke. Wow, okay, you did that to David and Jake. Like, I'm the person that's the villain. Oh my God, you went too far. You weaponized. This is why I'm scared for Moses to be in a relationship with you. It's like, that's our banter. That was my banter with my last relationship. That's ours, and I thought it was fine. And then, so my trigger wasn't that, and I fucked up. Like the pill thing, probably I shouldn't have.
Let's find out what's going on with Ethan. Because if it really was as big a deal as we're making it, was it that big a deal?
Well, clearly I didn't perceive it.
For you.
Oh, that he had like a bruise on his arm?
No, that she came out with the pill stuff.
No, it was more. I was more like shocked and surprised that she went there.
Okay. So why did you then hit her with, "Hey, you're attacking me. You're weaponizing this information"? Because that's what triggered her.
Because she does. I mean, you do that. You don't.
Okay. So what? Okay. So fine. So what is that? Wait. So what is that, Trisha? What's he talking about?
I guess he says that I've done exposed videos about my boyfriends in the past where it's like when I'm hurt, like I will do things to like hurt people or whatever like that.
Okay, so stop. So that maybe is not okay, right?
I agree. I totally agree.
Because you ever heard the phrase? I don't know.
Okay, he's talking about my boyfriend.
Can I interject?
Listen, hold on. That's a different issue. But hurt people, right?
Of course,
when you're hurt,
I understand.
It's not of course. You can deal with it a little more productively than just lashing out.
I go to DBT classes and stuff, so I know my issue is
okay.
It's like a group therapy for people.
It's called dialectical behavioral therapy, and it helps keep other people in mind when you want to do something.
Because I have a really, I can't control myself. Good. It's almost like I black out, and like so when I get mad or upset or I felt in that position, all of a sudden I started feeling like, wow, I'm being like looked at as the villain, like I did something wrong.
Okay, so there's a lot here, right?
Yeah,
and Ethan, she's doing something active about it. She's actually getting treatment.
Yeah, no, that
it.
makes me happy to hear.
So good. So I think we can move past that a little bit because that shouldn't happen as much, right?
And I do have a lot of empathy and sympathy for like the fact that sometimes you lose control and you get really emotional and you do and say things that you regret. I do want to add that this whole event came after her and her boyfriend got into a fight, and she already made a video about him, accusing him of flirting with underage girls, which she's since retracted.
It's totally different. First of all, it's totally different because that's something completely different than me having an altercation with him.
Who's my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, by the way, someone I care about.
So he's saying like I made a video being like, he flirted with fans, whatever, but that's a completely different thing that I already made public as opposed to an altercation. Like that's a completely different thing that nobody wanted out there and you put out there, and then it went to the shitstorm thing of Trisha's an abuser and all this stuff, which was not something that was out there.
So let's go. So what Ethan seems to appreciate is when you have something that becomes excessive, you do something active in response to it. So what are you doing to help make sure that doesn't happen again? Is that part of the DBT therapy?
Yeah, yes. I mean, I started that in May.
Let me ask you a harsh question. When people, when they get into altercations that go that far, oftentimes we advise that this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Is that the case with this relationship, or are you both in it and working actively with professionals to help make sure that doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I'm working now on it, and it's like a thing that's like super, super sensitive because I've never gone that far,
So Ethan, can you see how when you say something like this is a weaponized, you're attacking me, that's tough territory for her right now. You got it?
Yeah, no,
you understand? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So here's the deal. You're doing DBT. Do you have any like peer support, that kind of thing? People you can call when you start to ask. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing all the right stuff, right? You have a therapist, you have a DBT group, you've got peer support. I mean, it's, the fact that this happened from my perspective, not so surprising given what you tell everybody about yourself.
Yeah.
That's part of this whole syndrome. And yes, you have to be extremely careful. You have to 5 steps earlier, you have to do something to make sure you don't get all the way to those dissociative states.
What we do, that's what it is. I mean, what we do now.
And by the way, you're hanging in very, very well with this whole episode we're all going through here. You're not dissociating.
Yeah.
Which is kind of remarkable, right?
Thank you. I feel like we have worked on it since. I mean, I tell him, like, because I used to tell him, like, hey, let's stop talking about this. And he took it as me just trying to control the situation. But now if I say, can we please stop talking about this, like he does, because I know that's when I get into that, like, blackout thing. Because that's what happened. Yeah. I was like, can we just stop talking about it? Can we stop? And when he doesn't, because he thinks I'm trying to control the conversation, which I'm not.
No, you have to say, you need a code word. You need some way of stopping it. Come back around later when you're not escalating.
And that's what we do, and that's what it's been. It's just one of those things, as I've never gone that far, where I just feel like I shouldn't be in a relationship. I shouldn't, not for a long time.
That's all that negative self-talk that is part of the problem, right? And so Ethan, the good news is you and her relationship has never gone to those places, right? So she obviously trusts you. No, not quite.
Not quite.
No,
we had a really bad blowout on a few episodes ago where I think you were starting to disassociate and you left.
I walked out because he was pushing it once again. He wouldn't let go. We were 20 minutes past our thing, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna leave after this. And he's like, no, let's resolve this now.
I was trying to apologize, but
he kept trying to resolve it, and I said,
it?
not right now. Like, I'm gonna just leave. I'm just gonna leave, and he would not end it. So that's when I walked out. I didn't get angry. I didn't yell at him. I was like more embarrassed than anything, and I just left. And it was past our time of doing the show. I stayed in there for the rest of it, and I just left because that was when he was saying the weaponizing thing, and I knew it was gonna like set me off. It already did, and that's why I was being nasty about his wife and his kids and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, I need to like leave because I know it's gonna get even worse.
But I don't take that stuff personally because I understand. Can I have a hug, by the way?
No, not really? Right now.
No, I don't think that's the thing right now.
Really? Not this time for a hug?
No, I don't think so. We might get there, but we're not there now.
And he's never hugged me ever once. Can I just say that? So if you hug me now, it's disingenuine to me.
Really?
It's going to seem weird.
Never, because you never hug me.
When you're dressed as one another, it's extra weird.
Yeah.
Well, then with a lack of in replacement of hugging you. Well, no, seeing you like this, I mean, it gives me a lot of insight to how vulnerable.
Yes, I think Ethan's saying, I see how tender this is. I apologize where I've triggered it too far. That's what she needs lots of right now.
Yeah.
I understand.
Well, No, I mean...
I think it's just like I always feel bad. Like I haven't apologized to you, and I do feel bad when I attack like your wife and you're like all that stuff like that. I do feel bad right away. Like that's the worst thing about this is like I feel bad instantaneously. I'm like fuck. I'm such a bad person. Like this is why I don't keep friends. And he said in that same episode, this is why nobody wants to be with you. And it's like that all there is like I know this stuff. It's like I just can't control it right now. I'm doing better at it, but like I don't have friends. I don't have relationships that last longer than a year. He knows that. So by you saying that too, it just like fucking triggered it all over again because I know that's why I don't have friends. I know that.
Well,
and I feel bad instantaneously. I'm not like a sociopath.
Let Ethan talk. It's all good.
No, I feel bad, and I feel like I didn't. It's hard. I feel like people misperceive you and misunderstand you. I think people think that you're not self-aware or that you're just like this wrecking ball and that you kind of are just like this emotionless creature that just smashes everything up and you don't think twice about it.
Yeah.
But it's clear to me now that you are very aware of how you can be hurtful and mess things up and that it does hurt you.
Yeah.
And I understand about how I said, at that time was maybe just hitting too hard and was just too mean, and it was something that you are, painfully aware of.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. You still have to have a show.
Yeah.
You still have to have a show, and you still have to conflict. But I think you got to do a little more agreeing on where the boundaries are, And now you understand, and once you trigger what's under all that, Ethan.
Can I ask you?